The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Hello there, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast live. We are back doing our talk back streams, discussing these new Star Wars shows. We did one of these last year for Ahsoka, which I had a lot of fun doing. Was Ahsoka last year? Yes, it was. Time isn't real. But I'm very excited. Like I said, we're not going to be doing these for every single show that comes out, but ones that I am particularly excited for, such as The Acolyte. So no promises if we can make it through the whole season doing these, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that we are live talking about these episodes right after they drop to kind of decompress, discuss our, after closing out Disney Plus thoughts. I'm very excited to do this. I'm going to be sharing the StreamYard link in the chat. Same basic rule as before. Patrons are basically going to get to stick around as long as they want to. And non-patrons, give you a few minutes, speak your piece, kind of have a little roundtable discussion and keep things moving. So I'm going to throw this this StreamYard link in the chat. Don't look at that. That is the YouTube link, which you are already watching this on. I'm a good producer, everybody. But here we go. There is the StreamYard link. And yeah, go ahead and use that link to hop into the show. I know we're going to be joined by a friend of the show, patron, Epic Confrontations, commissioner, host of the Star Wars in a Galaxy podcast, man of many titles. And Eli from In a Galaxy will be joining us here shortly to ride shotgun with me. So stay tuned for that. He'll be here in a moment. So this is my second time getting to watch these episodes. I got the chance to go check out the first two episodes last night at a theater, which was an incredible experience. I love seeing Star Wars on the big screen. And for anybody keeping track at home, yes, I did cry. I didn't full cry. I didn't full cry. I got a little verklempt. I got a little choked up, knowing, feeling it was coming. Somebody click that new StreamYard link. Oh, cool. So obviously we do have some people hopping up in the chat here. Obviously, Yord, Miss Taylor is fully in the Yord horde. He's been here the whole time. Sam Reiching it up with the Jedi. And then we got number one Savaggio Press enjoyer. Do you think Yord is into pegging? Because I think so. Sure, I guess. I don't know, man. That's a question for Yord. But we are joined. A is here, almost right on cue. Eli, what's going on, bud?
Hey everyone. I'm still like, I just watched it for the second time as well. It was just as good the first and second time. Although actually no, it was better this time. And my Hiki username explains why. I was saying this to Jarod last night, but unfortunately we had some mishaps. They had to reboot our theater's entire Dolby projector right after the Endara fight, basically. So I watched the Endara fight 3 times last night.
I mean, and it's not a bad fight to watch. I do want to get into talking about some of the fight choreo, and I'm glad you're here to talk about that, because you're one of the other few people in our space who like to get in the weeds with the 7 forms and stuff like that, like I do. So very excited to chop it up on that front. But yeah, no, you're not the only one who actually ran into a little bit of a snafu last night. So I'm going to give everybody a really funny peek behind the curtain. So last night when I got home, I was intent on recording a little fun, like spoiler-free review to discuss, these first two episodes. Try to feed the clout machine. I'm a shill. What can I say?
You gotta
I
do
was
what you gotta do.
I was excited to talk about it, and I needed to start saying words into a microphone because that's how I express my fandom these days, I guess. But all joking aside, I was super excited. Sat down to record the review, and I didn't realize it until I had already uploaded a video that, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was my soundboard, I don't know if it was my computer, I don't know what it was. None of the audio was captured. So it was just a full video of me speaking and gesticulating and no audio at all. So I was like, well, I'm going to just repurpose this thumbnail. Excuse me. And that will simply be my Acolyte talkback thumbnail format because I'm committed to that now. But no, I absolutely love these episodes. And while we wait for more people to join us, we actually do have some more comments here. So the choreo for the fights was stellar.
Pull up Woodsy's comments.
King. I was gonna say get to Woodsy's in a second. I do want to specifically talk about the way Soul fights.
Woodsy. It starts with an R and ends with an acism.
That was a dumb joke, and I hate that it made me laugh so much. I don't know if people were complaining about Soul's English because it was really good for a second language. It's really good, and I could listen to Soul say Master Vernestra for the entire runtime of an episode.
100%.
Just the sauce, Master Vernestra. Like it's just there's just such a sauce on it that I love. I love hearing him say those words.
It's such like a dramatic Hollywood story that Leslie Headland told about getting Lee Jung Jae into this because he said like she reached out to his agents because he's like very big in South Korea.
Yeah, he's huge. Yeah,
and they reached out to her and said, "Hey, thanks for the offer. We're only doing he's only doing roles that he speaks in Korean from now on." And then she got the script to him anyway, and then he's like, "No, I got to do this. I don't care."
He's like, "Oh, I could be a Jedi. Fuck y'all, I'm gone." Like, yeah, absolutely. Like his speaking voice in general is so like I love the texture to his voice, but like in particular the Master Vernestra, like it's oh god, it's just
By the
so
way,
fun.
Speaking of those fucking pinch me moments, Master Vernestra on live action, a big screen. What a great day High Republic fans have been having for the last, I guess, 2 days, for the last 48 hours.
For the last 48 hours, ever since, what a great couple years the High Republic fans have been having, just as the High Republic has been so stellar. But no, while we're waiting for some more folks to join us, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in here again. Just so everybody has it. It's going into the YouTube and the Twitch version because we have a Twitch. It's only ever used when we go live, obviously, and I don't pay attention to it. I'm bad at my job. But no, I do want to talk about some of these fights real quick. I love the framing of when and why a Jedi can and should draw their lightsaber.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I think that there is and I think that not necessarily in a bad faith way, though I'm sure it's coming. There's going to be conversations about well, why does this Jedi kind of pull it out willy nilly in other stories and and it's a matter of
I actually don't think that will be in bad faith conversations, and not for the reason you think.
Why is that?
The reason I don't think it's gonna have bad faith arguments is because I've seen the bad faith arguments and they are way dumber than that.
Yeah, well, shame on me for thinking it would engage with the text. But no, I do love this whole maxim of a Jedi should only draw their lightsaber when they are prepared to take a life. and that it is like, the tensions are this high that, I might have to use lethal force, an idea that we will be getting to, as I have opinions on
Yeah.
that very idea. Eli and I talked about this last night.
Yeah.
I love the use of the force foo here. And I think, I love my 7 forms. I love unpacking the lightsaber combat stuff. I think that just from watching Soul fight unarmed, I can already make a convincing argument that he's probably some type of Ataru guy. We're looking at some Form 4.
That's not exactly what I picked up. I don't know why. He just gives a very Sarisu vibe off to me.
See, I get Sarisu from Indara. I was getting mad Sarisu from Indara. She was so, she was so defensive, and the only time that she truly does feel the need to draw her lightsaber is to deflect.
I guess the reason I was thinking of Soul is because I get a lot of, in the best ways, I get a lot of Obi-Wan vibes from Soul. In all the best ways. All the reasons I love Obi-Wan as all the reasons I love Soul. This main cast of characters is just great. It's just great. There are just so many small things about the show. One of the things I appreciate, I don't want to list too off track here. I just want to say this: the parasite at the beginning on the prison ship that did unspecified things to that one prisoner's mind.
Yeah,
that's so weird.
It's so weird. It's so bizarre.
So Star Wars. It's so Star Wars. Is like that was the moment that I knew. I'm like, yeah, we're back, baby. We're back. That's the moment I was like, yeah. No, Leslie Headley gets Star Wars. We wouldn't have the beginning of a Star Wars without some random ass creature or substance or whatever it is just there for no reason other than, hey, we're gonna put it in here.
Yeah, I loved like a little Borg gullet to go. Everybody can start making Chapel Roan edits of that. Borg gullet to go. But no, I did really like that.
Yeah.
Geo. No, I did really like that. I also just want to say, as like a brief shout out, watch Ionized Bastards on the Remaining Systems YouTube channel. That weird robot guy was salvage. You cannot convince me otherwise. That was salvage.
This man sees salvage everywhere. Legit. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong too. We're recording a shit ton of Jedi Survivor episodes for In a Galaxy, and I just got back to the moment where we saw that first Magna Guard, and I still remember when I texted you, "Oh my God, salvage made it into this game."
And then I texted you back with a screenshot of me cutting it in half and said, I did it again. Salvage is 0-2 against Jarod Bachman Stubbs. Not Fabian Martel. Jarod Bachman Stubbs is shit personal. But no, it did have that that Star Wars whimsy, like I've seen a lot of people talking about this and bringing it up in conversation that there is a, not that I don't want to do the thing that I got so angry at the rest of the internet for when Andor was coming out.
And it's already happening again.
It's already happening again. But again, just to use it as like a benchmark and not say Andor was bad at this thing. It's just the Acolyte does this thing that Andor didn't quite do.
And it didn't need to do it.
It's one of those things.
It wasn't about that. It wasn't about that, and I respect its commitment to not being about that. However, I do like when that thing is in there.
Absolutely. If I does see salvage in everything, I do. I look at like the toaster will go off sooner than I thought it would, and
then you just hear, "Are you scared, mate?"
Yeah. Martel, BB&J's ready, and I'm just like, I'll see you in hell, you son of a bitch. No. But Andor, like it had its moments of like the Star Wars, like, hey, what's that weirdo's deal? For example, that one fucking guy on Ferrix who's like bunny hopping out of his house, and like the freaky alien brothers.
Doing
the last few episodes. Yeah,
what?
like like it does have those moments, but you know, the Acolyte hits the ground running. Um, to immediately like, okay, the first being we see is like this weird. It almost looks like Garandon, but with like a Dragon Ball stuck in his fucking trunk. And then we get like this whole room where like there's like maybe 3 humans counting our named characters
Yeah.
like in the fight right like with Indara. We get onto the prison ship and Osha
The Moidians.
and the one guy with the scar is like the only 2 humans, and then obviously
And then
there's the guy who's
fucking
like,
the Moidians. Like, I almost yelped when I saw that on screen. Like, I knew it was coming and I almost screamed. Like, this is the first time we've seen the Moidians in live action Star Wars in 19 years.
yeah,
19
yeah.
years.
So correct me if I'm wrong. In the one of the trailers that was shown at Celebration London, was there a Lucre Hulk?
I do not remember that.
As I can't remember if it was in the trailer for the Acolyte or if it was in the trailer for the game that must not be named. Because I'm pretty sure the game that must not be named has a Lucre Hulk in the trailer, but I feel like it was in
Interesting.
both.
That's interesting that they'd have Lucre. Either way, it's interesting to think that they had Lucre Holtz that far back. I don't know. I always thought that not of course that like those ships can be built in a day or anything like
Yeah,
that. But I thought that by the time of Phantom Menace, the militarization of the Trade Federation was a fairly new thing. I'm not basing off of anything but vibes,
or
but
at the very least, that the Trade Federation had reached a point where it could like crank them out that fast.
yeah.
That like maybe at this point, like we're like 150 years out. That like maybe the Trade Federation has like 2 or 3 Lucre Hulks, and it's kind of a big deal for them that they have these massive ships. But no, I think I thought the trade. I think I thought the Neimoidians would be more important to the story. Like I don't know. I
Interesting.
think part of it. I think part of my brain, and it's like, I guess I just kind of still had of like there's an Neimoidian. This is like right, not right before, but like close-ish to the Phantom Menace. We know from Legends the Sith who were active in that time were like a lot like had lived like centuries before the events of that movie. So maybe like they were seeing the Trade Federation in bed with the Sith this early in the game. Maybe they don't know it yet, but like we see the Sith having dealings with the Trade Federation, or we're seeing the Trade Federation do scummy things in the name of getting a buck. Any of those ideas, So for them to just
Yeah.
kind of be like a shitty boss,
Yeah.
But again, I'm not disappointed with that being their involvement. I just think it's fascinating that like I don't think I'm the only person who was like, ooh, maybe this is something Trade Federation,
Yeah.
something like precursor to the Naboo crisis.
I was very interested to see, like, as soon as knowing, I'm like, okay, how racist are these accents going to be?
And the answer was not at all, which was
Yeah,
surprising.
they scaled it back, which good for them.
Yeah, we didn't get the random which one was it Rune Hako in Attack of the Clones? Where did you get those starships back into space? With like that like horrifying bassy voice.
Yeah, that was somebody. Rune Hako. There was one. There is an aide to Nuke Gunray. I'm not joking about this. They do this shit just to confuse people like us. There's one aide to New Gunray named Root Gunay. I'm like, what are you supposed to do with that? What the fuck are you supposed to do with that?
That's just George trolling.
I think
But
it's more
no,
likely Pablo trolling, but yeah.
either way, I don't put it past either of them. But no. So yeah, I was super fascinated by that. I was joking with my girlfriend about this that I do think it's very funny that that we meet a character named Osha doing a manual labor job that is like infamously dangerous to the point where it has been automated for only droids to do it.
legitimately, I had the thought, oh, and like literally as I was coming home from the theater last night, I'm like, that's interesting that OSHA, I know, like, is like the workplace regulation thing. And then I never put that thing together when it's so like obvious right there until just now. I'm like, yeah, that is really funny.
I was thinking, I honestly, it is the only thing that like superbly distracted me throughout the screening last night, is that I kept thinking back to fucking OSHA.
I don't know if it was just you. I, for some reason, expected May to be the good one.
Because she's the one who was marketed to us.
Yeah, that's
She's the one
probably
who was
why.
marketed to us. Because like, and we're going to talk about theories and stuff, and this might be a good segue into that. You know, everybody was talking about, Amanda Stenberg, they are playing a character named May. And May is, like there's a whole, ooh, who done it, who did it. And, that's where the twin theory started to come from, is we're seeing May, we're seeing a character played by Amanda Stenberg fighting these Jedi, and then also say, I didn't do it. Like as we're watching.
And then Leslie Headland just points like 10 minutes into the thing and says, they did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. don't worry, honey. Don't worry, honey. We're headed there. But no, so I do want to touch on twin theory real quick. Because, if you're on the internet, they did several premieres for this show.
You saw this coming.
And well, you saw this coming because you started to piece it together. And I thought it was a really interesting discourse because, I heard Alex and Molly over at Star Wars Explained talk about it. I heard the Force Center folks talk about it, that it was like, Leslie Headland has thumped her chest a lot about how whatever you think is going to happen, you're wrong. And the fan base very quickly pieced twins together. That, the double exposure on the poster, this, again, all the footage of Amanda Stenberg saying I didn't do it, mixed with footage of Amanda Stenberg doing like
clearly doing
aerial Mortal Kombat combos on Li Zhongjae. Like it was hard to be like, either she is resisting arrest really hard or there's something fishy afoot here. And, I was like, oh, I'm into it. That'd be an interesting angle. And then there were some media outlets that were a little sloppy.
Well,
and the way they were talking about the premieres. And
sort of. Well, I will say the thing started with actually the official Star Wars account. I'm not blaming anybody in there, but in the subtitling for one of the final trailers, OSHA was clearly like seen in the subtitles saying one of a line spoken by Amanda Stenberg. Like it said OSHA line of dialogue. So that was really the first thing that people were like, oh.
Okay. I get that's fair. I didn't see that. What I saw was at the UK premiere, Radio Times interviewing Amanda, and the tweet reading, Amanda Stenberg talks about playing not one, but two roles in the upcoming Star Wars series, The Acolyte. And I was like, well,
I think
thanks for blowing the lid off of that one. Jesus.
I think at a certain point, Leslie and Amanda just said, fuck it. And we're not going to keep this one anymore. It happens in the first 10 episodes and just decided we're going to say it really close. They're going to see it in 6 hours anyway, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing at all. I just it was just shocking to me. I remember even yesterday morning, I'm like, they're being this open about this. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and it goes to show that they're like, we have so many more, like she said, it's like an onion, that there's so many more layers to peel back that they're like, okay, cool. Congratulations, guys. You figured out the twins.
Yeah.
What else?
But yeah, the peeling back the layers thing, that is a Jacobism on In the Galaxy. And so every time I hear that being said about the Acolyte, I'm like, now I'm like desperately wanting to know what he's gonna think about the show because he has this thing where like every time he just goes for that idiom constantly. Yeah, no, I'm gonna see him soon, so I'm excited to hear what he thinks about this. But no, it's the layers of intrigue are endlessly fascinating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And real quick, before we move into some more theory crafting, I just want to say I'm going to put it in again. This is going to be a bit of a call-in, convo, talk back. So anybody who would like to join, feel free. I have a feeling that my better half is going to be coming in like the Kool-Aid man when we get to a part of the conversation that I know she wants to discuss. But we're not quite there yet, honey. I know you're watching in the living room. I would like to say I think I cracked this case wide open. I'm going to call my shot.
And I was actually talking with somebody just after I watched this, and they had a little alteration to poke in your theory, and I actually tend to agree with that. I think you're mostly right, but
I'll take mostly right.
but I think there's a detail in there that's a little bit altered, and that would make your theory even kind of better. Honestly.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let me cook, and then
Yeah.
you add some seasoning.
Absolutely.
Okay. Here's what I think is going on. Here's what I think is going down. I think flashback to 16 years ago,
which we are going to do. We know that.
Which we know we're going to get flashbacks, but we're gonna hop in the Wayback Machine. We're gonna walk through the world between worlds. Mother Anastasia, who we know has not shown up yet. We have heard the Jedi say that whatever conflict arose with Osha and her family, her village, ended violently in a mass casualty event. We know from previous footage or from previous trailer footage that there was a conversation between Mother Anastasia and the Jedi about how, basically the Jedi are not the only people who have an authority on how the Force is used and how it is discussed, and that conversation gets more aggressive. It turns into aggressive negotiations, as one would say, and May freaks out and causes the chaos that results in this extinction of this village. Now, I find it very interesting that when they're discussing the death of the village, that they use the term mothers, because I think that could be very double meaning language. I don't think it's like I don't necessarily think that it is. I don't think that they're going to tee up that Osha and May had queer moms and then pull it back.
Well, no, they do. We know that.
We do know that?
We actually do know that. Yes.
It's
been confirmed that there's a named character who is Mother Anastasia's wife.
Oh, okay, cool. Because when they say mothers, and I know we're dealing with a coven in Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I still think
that could be double meaning language. It could be double meaning language that still means the same thing both ways, if that makes sense. But
no,
all
absolutely.
of that,
I don't think that does any. I don't think that ruins your theory at all. I'm just clarifying that. Yeah, they Leslie had I think it was Jodie Turner-Smith who plays Mother Anastasia. No, they're married.
One sec. Anyway, but so that conversation goes left, goes sideways, all hell breaks loose. Now, I think the twins get separated. And I say that because May also thinks Osha is dead.
Yeah.
So I think that in this eruption where you have the 4 Jedi, Sol, Kelnaka, Indara, and Torben. In the chaos, they try to talk May down, and she is not having it. And May, who is violently using the Force, but not technically armed, lashes out, and that Sol specifically takes it upon himself and uses what he thinks is lethal force and seemingly kills May. And I think that Osha knows. I think that Osha knows that happened because they both have this very heavy conversation about, like, you know, you did what
It wasn't
you
your
had to
fault.
do. It wasn't your fault. You did what you had to do.
Yeah. And
that she blames May for the situation more than she blames Sol. Now, maybe Osha doesn't have the full picture.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't have the full picture. Maybe it will be a revelation to her as well that Sol drew his sword and seemingly cut down May. But because of how, just obviously guilt-ridden Sol is, I am inclined to think that he thinks he killed this child, that this child is back. This child is fucking pissed. She already has a body count based around the people who were present for the thing he did.
Yeah.
And now he has to clean up this mess and bring her in as peacefully as he possibly can this time around.
Yeah.
Because, you know, obviously, I think if you remove from the equation that it is either his former Padawan or the child he thinks he killed, who's also the sister of his former Padawan, in any other context, 2 Jedi Masters are dead. We have the killer dead to rights. I don't think he goes into that fight without drawing his lightsaber.
Absolutely not.
And it's because he is so guilt-ridden for thinking he killed her.
Yeah.
That he chooses to exhibit restraint there. And I think that is where Darth Teeth, as Force Center has started calling him, comes into play. I think that Darth Teeth probably found the body, in air quotes, and took her in. Now, I do not think that Darth Teeth is our reigning Sith Master of the day. I think he's the apprentice. And I think he is trying to draft a candidate to be his apprentice to help him
An
overthrow
acolyte,
the master.
you could say.
An acolyte, one could say. But that is I'm trying to think if there's any details I don't have. Oh, and that also explains part of May's. One of the few things I don't like is like May's monologue that she gives every time she fights a Jedi. I think it will be paid off with why May is hunting these Jedi. I think that very specific, like, attack me with all your strength is very much a, hey, you were big and tough when I was a kid. Fuck with me now and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I've
my one alteration.
Give me some seasoning.
So I credit my mom with this. We were talking about this, and I actually really like this alteration. And it specifically came when we watched Torben do like the scene with Torben. Because I'm not saying that Sol didn't do the whole like exerting lethal force. I'm saying if that's all that happened, I'm not sure that Torben's dialogue, it seems like it was something, suggested it was something that he actively participated in, not just stood by and watched. So here's what we came up with, and I do believe this. The Jedi's version of the story is absolutely that May started the fire. It's not the truth, though.
So you think the cover-up is bigger than just hiding the sister?
The idea that the Jedi actually, like, for some reason, thought the Coven was dangerous.
I think that's
started the fire. Started the fire. And yet, and then like in the commotion, like Sol maybe wasn't fully going along with it or something like that. Tries to save both of them only manages to save one, who he deems as less dangerous because the other one is, as we said, as we said, tried to use lethal force against him, or like not lethal force, tried to use the force against him.
The force, yeah.
All we need to do is just have all we need to change is just the Jedi starting the fire, and then like the cover up makes it a lot more sinister.
I don't think I buy that the Jedi started the fire. It makes it interesting. I don't think the Jedi would have taken it to that place. I think maybe the Jedi were I think the Jedi may have been antagonistic, and like they failed in their charge, and that sets May off.
Yeah. There just don't need to be
they
something in
caused
there.
May to start the fire. I just don't think the Jedi did. Like that is I think that's a step too far in my opinion. But again, this is about the fall of the Jedi, so
yeah, there's just I feel like Torben does need to be involved in some way directly, because he clearly says, this is what I did. Before he dies, he said, this is what I did. This is what I participated in doing. I was wrong to do that. I think that's probably why he took the Barash vow, which, by the way, what a fucking rush to hear that in theaters.
That was really exciting. I did a little ooh whenever I heard it in the theater last night, and Taylor and Kaysen both went, "What?" And I was like, "I'll explain later." It's like it's not important, but it's cool. No, so but to kind of build on my end of it, the reason why I am more inclined to say that that May lost control, May started it, Soul acted. I think that's also why he took to training the younglings. I think that it's kind of a self-imposed, like, you failed these two kids. You fucked up, you let them down. And you need to do everything in your power to never let that happen again. And I think it's why that kid who we all thought was May in the trailer, that youngling who's talking about like a fire that can't be stopped, like again, in the context of the trailer, that's made to seem way more sinister, but like in the moment, it's not. It's another natural, like it's another, like in a literal sense, force of nature that occurs in the real occurs in the world, that is not necessarily evil. It is powerful, that it can be destructive, but it's also part of death and rebirth, like the force itself. But hearing that little girl talk about a fire that can't be stopped, that freaks Saul out, because it was on his watch. A little girl just like her freaked out. And if he can stop that from
made a fire
again,
yeah.
And if he can stop that from happening again, he can take the red out of his ledger.
Yeah.
But
I do think that Soul definitely has like some guilt. I just also think that I don't know how it's going to play out, but I do think the other Jedi, Indara, Kelnaka, and Torben, had more direct involvement in some way. I think Soul puts it on himself because he does, and that's who Soul is. But
he may put it on himself because it was his lightsaber, but like everybody in the room agreed to that, and they're like, it just hit Torben harder than that. That they all like that it affected them all in different ways. Like Indara is looking down is like looking down the barrel of somebody who clearly has the martial prowess to rival that of a Jedi, to the point where like even after exchanging a few blows, she's like, who the fuck trained you? Like she's like sincerely like is aware of the fact that her life may be in danger, still doesn't draw her sword.
Yeah.
Soul has taken it upon himself to raise the next generation of Jedi, to make sure that there's never a situation that someone like him can fuck up again. Torben takes the Barash vow. Kelnaka said, fuck y'all, I'm out.
Kelnaka also probably took the Barash vow, but
yeah, he may have taken it as well. He may also have taken it. But yeah, give me one sec.
remember. I'll just say this. While you're doing whatever you need to do, I will just say when Leslie Headland described this show as Kill Bill meets Frozen, I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
I know it
And
was
now
one
I
of the most
perfectly get it.
confusing descriptions I've ever heard,
And now I 100% get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like it makes no sense when you hear it out of context.
It's hilarious out of context. Hello, Joseph.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do get it though. I do get it now. And yeah, I'm really loving this show. I do want to say this is another thing we talked about last night. Can confirm the melody for Arrival on Camino is in the show multiple times.
Oh, you said Return to Tatooine last
Or
night.
Return to Tatooine. That's right. That's right. It's Return to Tatooine.
Okay.
Yeah, no. It's in the second episode. You get that do 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 throughout the second episode a few times, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, May, she's doing a lot of like she is very. I mean, I'm not saying that May as a character is unoriginal because she's not. She obviously has her own quirks and interesting like backstory and lore and all that kind of stuff and character traits. But like the archetype of dark warrior who seeks revenge, we've done this before in Star Wars.
Yes.
I do want to know what Fabian Martell would think of her, but you know,
I mean, hey, man, I'm sure she has her reasons. I know Fabian has his. The
yeah,
problem
but
is with a quest for revenge and that kind of tailspin, those kinds of emotions send you down. They sound good when you say them to yourself, but out loud, you sound fucking crazy.
they really do, and then suddenly you're just up against you're slamming a Kaminoan against the wall, you know, and saying
Throwing her into a fire. Listen, nobody ever said that Fabian was a hero.
no, you're certainly proving that point.
Yeah. But no, I really like this episode. I think I'm gonna be doing like last call here in a second for guests, because we're gonna be calling this one here soon. I do want to just say real quick, we will be doing weekly reviews as well, still, just like with Ahsoka. So this Friday you can expect our latest episode of Knights of the Nerd Republic. If you want some TNAP goodness to hold you over before then, we do have our review of X-Men 97 with Mitch from CompoCast and the Mitch 692 channel. Just doing some plugs here before the end and buying a very special guest some time.
Ooh,
We
interesting.
we got our new show, Pro and
I have
Noob
something
podcast.
I have something to bring up. Like if we need to buy more time, just keep going. Just want to bring it up.
Well, they just arrived, so
Okay. All right.
Oh, I just was finishing the plug real quick. We have our X-Men 97
Okay,
review out
yeah.
on the channel right now, and then go check out the Mitch 692 YouTube channel for the anime show I'm doing now with him called Pro and Noob, where he's showing me Neon Genesis Evangelion one episode at a time. And then on Friday, our episode discussing these first two episodes of The Acolyte will be out with special guest Kelly Knox. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a wonderful conversation that I am
Fantastic.
very excited for. But we have one last guest here. If you can get in before I call it, you're more than welcome. But hi, Miss Taylor.
Hi, everybody.
So you pointed out something really interesting that I was able to kind of like build on as we were kind of like yes-anding each other with theories here. So Darth Teeth has his little monologue at the end of the first episode about the Acolyte needs to be able to kill the dream of the Jedi without a weapon.
Yeah.
And we've seen that, that has been the challenge and May has gone into each of these fights without trying to not use her little shurikens in combat. Obviously, because she's trying to kill at least one of the three Jedi that aren't a fucking Wookiee. unarmed.
Jarod, by the way, on a scale of 10 to also 10, how much did you love that Sith speech at the end?
I was freaking the fuck out, and I love Darth's teeth, and his lightsaber turning on made my body.
That is the most Jarod coded thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, I love it, but like seriously, I legit, I'm like, I know to some people this is gonna sound like the most edgelord bullshit ever. I love it because I love the Sith, but like, yeah, holy crap.
Oh, I marked out for it. I mean, down to a helmet with a voice modulator as well. But it's like, okay, need to defeat the Jedi unarmed, need to defeat the Jedi unarmed. And then Taylor pointed out something very, very, very clever, and I'm going to give the floor to her.
So what did I point out?
The thing that you wanted to come on to talk about.
The killing without a weapon. I don't.
You mentioned something earlier. I don't know what this specifically
okay.
is
So
in the comments.
We mean whenever May goes into battle, she immediately goes for the lightsaber, but not in a way that it looks like she's trying to take it for offense, but in a way that she's trying to take it for maybe later use.
Oh, I see.
Like maybe one of the trials, maybe one of the is to unarm a Jedi and take their lightsaber.
Take it from them while they're still breathing.
Yeah. Or like the sort of like the thing, and the idea is like, I can also see like, you know, if that is the apprentice, which I do believe it is, the apprentice can't just give her a lightsaber. How are they going to make it without their master, you know, noticing? Like it's not like lightsabers gotten from the Jedi or gotten not from the Jedi are exactly a dime a dozen these days. In this time, so like, so yeah, the only way for May to feasibly get a lightsaber is
to loot a dead Jedi.
is as Qui-Gon Jinn,
but not necessarily a dead Jedi, because she could have taken the
Indara's lightsaber.
Yep.
Yeah, but she has to take it from him while they're fighting.
She has to disarm a Jedi of the lightsaber.
Which I thought, so you said that, and I had a brain blast. Because you mentioned this idea that, like, you know, okay, defeat the Jedi without a weapon. Okay, cool. And then I went, wait a minute. And Taylor, it's so funny that you're here and that this chatter is the one to bring it up. Number one Savaggio Press enjoyer says she needs a crystal to bleed. And that was my exact next thing. Because what does Palpatine make a big deal about in the Charles Soule Vader comic?
In the creative consultant Charles Soule Vader comic.
Yes. Creative.
Love it.
Yeah. Creative consultant Charles Soule in a comic he fucking wrote had the Emperor make a big deal about, you are going to bleed the crystal of the first Jedi you kill. And I think I think they make,
and you could be talking, by the way, about two different people.
Explain.
Turbo, right?
Well,
he does that to Vader, but he also does that to another apprentice before.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, that with Palpatine's relationship with that like Dooku's lightsaber is still blue when he kills Yaddle.
Oh, that's not who I was talking about.
Okay, who are you talking about then, Eli?
I'm talking about Maul. In the Darth Maul comic, I'm not sure, but it's I don't think he bleeds it in there exactly, but it's heavily implied that the Padawan that Maul kills in the comic, Eldra Cadis, I believe is her name. Yeah. I think he has a. Does he have a red lightsaber by that point? I think he might have a red lightsaber by that point. Never mind.
He does. But I think he gets the crystal he bleeds from Malachor.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. Okay, yeah.
But though, it's still built on the premise of you will take this from a dead Jedi. And Yaddle presents herself as a great first kill for Dooku. So Palpatine has her do it. You know, Vader needs a lightsaber. Sidious sends him after that guy who also took the Barish vow. So, like, so whenever Taylor was like, oh, she needs to like take it from the, like, like as you kind of put there in the thing, Taylor, that, needs to take
Yeah, I
the
just
just
you're
interrupt
better
us,
talkers.
honey. Just interrupt us.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a May has a laundry list of what she needs to do. May is completing.
She has
May
4
is
Jedi
completing
to kill, but
the
she has
bonus
like
achievements
2.
of her training.
Yeah, I feel like she has 4 Jedi to kill, but she has 2 quests to complete. So like,
Yeah.
double the odds. Double
This
your
is
numbers.
it's very like video game to me, in a sense, like, okay, you have to we all know, like, there's like video game stuff. I'm just gonna use the first example I thought of, like, those fucking feats in Galaxy Heroes.
There's a feature, say
Jared.
Assassin's Creed is lousy with those, where it's like,
Yeah,
you don't have to do this whole mission in stealth, but like,
Richard.
yeah.
we'll give you bonus XP if you do.
Yeah, you have to do it in stealth. You have to do it not using using your main weapon or something like that. Like, I feel like that's what Darth Teeth is doing to May, basically.
No, I agree. And I think that, again, like, it's that idea that I think that maybe this might be elaborated upon as being a specific, like, rite of passage for Rule of Two Sith. That it's like, we can't reveal ourselves to the Jedi, but should one be so unlucky to cross our path, it's up to you to make sure that that lightsaber crystal never makes its way home to be buried with the Jedi. And whenever Taylor said that, I was just like full galaxy brain, Danny DeVito,
Yeah.
I get it now meme. That I, again, like, and because you pointed out, like, they call such specific attention to her going for the lightsaber. And at first I was like, oh, well, I assume that it's like, I want to take away your main line of defense, but
yeah,
because neither of them go for the lightsaber until, well, Soul never does.
Yeah, Soul never draws his sword.
And she doesn't go for hers until like towards the end of the fight.
And even then, she's only just blocking the shurikens. It's not even like she goes to attack May with it.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about that choreography for Soul, baby. You could see where he disarmed her in the combat. During the wide shots of the fight where it goes above them, you can see him like grazing her thigh, where it is shown that her like holsters are.
Yeah.
Like,
the choreography is incredible.
I mean, come on, you can't get any better than that. Like, especially when so many fights nowadays feature like the shaky cam effect and just sloppy choreography and sloppy editing. This was a dance in so many ways, in all of the best ways.
Absolutely. Oh, it's very beautiful. It's very elegant. The trailers, it was like the one thing that I was like fully sold on was like the Force Fu. Just because, like, most fights in Star Wars, like, they're built around like the blade to blade stuff. And I think that Kill Bill meets Frozen description from Leslie Headland, then being followed by trailers that were very heavy on, like, that very tight, like, kung fu, like, block counter, push away, parry, block, da 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 da, like, type choreo, that I was like, like, it's that weird nebulous thing of, does it feel like Star Wars? That really hard to quantify thing that has like defined almost half a century of discourse of, does it feel like Star Wars to you? And I wasn't sure about how I felt about it, but like, it is, like you said, Taylor, just so beautifully shot, beautifully choreographed, incredibly well edited. I said to Taylor while we were watching the episodes the second time tonight, like, I so badly do hope May gets her hands on a lightsaber by the end of the season. Cause like Amandla Stenberg is a hell of a fucking fighter.
Maybe.
Oh, I can't imagine they don't give them one, as like, I'm not sure if both characters will get one, but I think at least one will get one.
At least one will get one. I hope specifically it's May, just because I love like Shia Batty. I fucking love the force-assisted acrobatics that May is doing.
Yeah, because she's been trained to fight without a weapon.
Exactly, and I it's like that idea where like you have
that's the opposite. You know, she was trained to fight without a weapon. Therefore, with a weapon, would she be as effective or would she be less effective?
There's an interesting argument for that. The way I look at it is, you know, the way that like MLB, like people like in the MLB, like dudes who are like known for being able to just launch balls into the fucking atmosphere. That is a common practice for them to work on their swing in a swimming pool. Is that like they will be like in the shallow end of a pool, just kind of like just putting as much weight behind it as possible and like getting used to following that motion through with like an inordinate amount of resistance behind it, so that when they get up to the batter's box, when they put that same amount of force behind it, it's like you're swinging a feather at that point. That like your body is so used to, you know, or like fucking Dragon Ball with like the hyperbolic chamber, where you know you increase the gravity and the pressure to like the nth degree. So now that when you're punching and kicking and stuff, like what feels like you're pushing past hundreds of pounds of weight, you know, you're punching that hard, but with no resistance. So like maybe May is like being held back by being disarmed, and she has to rely on these more crafty tactics where you give that same person a lightsaber and that talent in her acrobatics and how fast she is on her feet and how crafty and devious she is in combat, that like now she has a laser sword. Now the fight is even from the beginning. And you know, I'm just excited to see how that goes. Maybe, like you said, it'd be very Star Wars if, haha, you know, very diehard. Brennan, I see you. I'm gonna bring you in, but like the very, very diehard, like ha 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 ha, I have a machine gun now. But like May's like ha ha ha, I have a lightsaber, and that ability to engage the Jedi is her undoing. That she bites off way more than she can fucking chew, thinking that she can take someone in on a straight up sword fight.
Comment from #1 Savage Press Enjoyer.
Yeah, let's go Savage, baby.
That would be ridiculously complicated and stupid to film. So my bet is episode 7.
Was that a spit take?
I want it.
They're definitely going to do it. They're definitely going to do that.
Jarod was like, I want May to have a lightsaber. I was like, but I want Osha to have a lightsaber.
Yeah, and they're going to be using it against each other.
I want to see them duke it out for sure.
No, maybe like episode 6, so that way we can get a 2-episode arc of them recovering as sisters and finding their sisterly bond, and then defeating Darth Teeth together.
I don't like anybody's odds against Darth Teeth. I am still in the camp that this show is going to have a wild body count.
Yeah, probably. But is Darth Teeth Jason from The Good Place?
No.
Oh, is that the Antiquities guy? Whose name I can't remember?
Chimere.
His name? Oh,
Chimere, yeah. Well, real quick, before we bring it home here, we do have one last guest joining us. My most recent opponent in Epic Confrontation. He's a Brennan Mystical Mar himself.
Hello there.
Going on, Brennan?
Doing good. I'm excited.
How you feeling, man? I'll give you the floor to kind of chop it up here.
Oh my
word!
This was great. I think that this is a perfect introduction. I really liked at the beginning they explained exactly where in the timeline it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that anybody watching who doesn't know will understand immediately what we're talking about here.
This is another great jumping off point for Star Wars. Like Star Wars is always great at providing those jumping off points, and this is just yet another one.
And I just gotta say, how great is Lee Jung Jae in this show?
He's sensational. He's sensational. All of them are sensational. I feel like it was one of those things where you can like go down the main cast, and if you say anybody is your favorite, I'm like, I may not agree with you, but I absolutely understand why.
I can't decide if he's my favorite or Daphne Keane is my favorite.
See, that's it. Jackie's my favorite. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying this. I love just how the story just takes off.
Absolutely.
Like, there's no waiting. There's no waiting. It just,
No,
Yeah,
it like drops you right into it, and it just goes.
it
it's
does.
continuous.
This show does not waste anybody's time. Also, Eli said it several times before I could get it off. So
Sensational. And that's his word.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the word I'd use. I think I just love the look of it too.
yeah,
This feels
Yeah.
very like a very visually interesting world.
absolutely. It does truly feel like the first time we're seeing Star Wars 150 years before Star Wars.
100.
With,
I'm
you
gonna.
know, tons of
100.
people
Yeah.
all over the place, architecture that looks really interesting.
Yeah.
The thing I just
The streets are
appreciate.
like dirty and
Yeah, the thing I appreciate so damn much is just like the shots where they linger for a few seconds and we see the aliens or weirdly dressed people in the background. That is such a George thing, and I love that Leslie picked that up and put it in so gracefully there.
What's the name of the planet that the second episode primarily takes place on again?
Olega.
Olega. That's right. Because when we were in the theater, I leaned over to Case and I went, Olega.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
In fact, I was just at Galaxy's Edge 3 weeks ago, and I built my lightsaber specifically to look like a High Republic lightsaber.
Awesome.
Because I'm like, the Acolyte's going out, I need a High Republic lightsaber.
I have a friend who recently just did the same thing. It was a friend of mine I used to work with. He and his girlfriend went, and she is actually, she's like liked Star Wars, but he got her deeper into it through Fallen Order, and then she dove head first into the High Republic but my friend, his name's Alex. Obviously, no relation to the Damons.
I was like,
because she's already because Molly's well in the trenches with all of us at this point. But he was like, "Hey, like I know you're super into Star Wars books, da da da," and I was like, "High Republic, High Republic, High Republic, High Republic, High Republic, High Republic." And then I saw him. We still worked together. He came through a few days later. He's like, "Hey, Hannah's angry at you." I'm like, why? She's like, because she can't stop crying when she reads High Republic books. And I was like, welcome to the club, motherfucker.
One of the things I love
She needs to get the images from Twitter that High Republic Twitter has gotten.
Yes.
Where they have they have the nicely laced images with what the fuck and all the authors' names afterwards. One for each of them. What the fuck, Charles? What the fuck, Kevin?
Yeah, I wonder that. I mean, those writers, I wonder about them.
I still just want to talk to Kevin Scott. I still just want to talk after what happened to Logan Greatsword. But no, what you were talking about on Olega, with just like again, just the glip shadows, everybody doing in the background. I noticed it last night, and I watched it even more intently tonight as May is going into like the apothecary. There are two people on the street. Everybody's like having a good time. There's a couple people just kind of like dancing, just having a little boogie together. But then as she's walking in, there's two guys who get into like a shoving match who are just like, oh, fuck you. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. Like there's like these two guys who just start shoving each other.
Background details that really make this
that's so Star Wars. It's so Star Wars. It's like, again, like we said,
I can't wait to hear what the names of all these strange characters are going to be.
Oh yeah.
All these like background characters.
The Acolyte needs to get the Force Awakens treatment where everybody gets a Funko, everybody gets a figure, everybody gets a fucking poster,
and I'll buy every single one. People will get a book. I'll buy every single one.
Pablo, I know how cooperative and excited Leslie Headland has been about all the lore stuff. You better be writing that visual dictionary, and you better be writing it fast, buddy.
Yes.
I like that it feels like Star Wars, but also we haven't really seen a lot of stuff that we recognize.
Yeah.
This is all very new imagery. I like the bless you. Bless you again.
Thank you.
I love that it we haven't met anybody we know except Ernestra, and I must say that I forget the actress's name, but she's great.
I just had it. I think it's Rebecca Ferguson. Rebecca Ferguson.
Henderson.
I was so close. I was so fucking close.
Rebecca Ferguson was the one in Dune.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah,
Jessica.
I know. I caught myself. I'm like, wait, that's Jessica Atreides.
And I love the just the fact that you're just looking at it and it just feels so alive.
It really does.
And I also love Yod because trying to be like the perfect, like boring Jedi. That's not who he really is.
I think I don't know who my favorite character is yet, but I think I really like Jord in that same way that I
Did I say it
love.
wrong?
Jared,
I thought you said it. I misheard you. If you said it wrong, I didn't catch it. But no, I love him. Like he is that, and I know everybody gives me shit because I ride for Coyote-Mundi and Mace Windu like super hard. I know. I know.
Dogmatic Jedi, huh?
I love. Listen.
He said it.
Yoda is not even half the leader that Mace Windu is, but Coyote-Mundi does have a
he's
slip
not
up his
half.
ass.
He's not half. He's twice.
Well, that would explain why Coyote-Mundi's head is so tall.
Exactly. It's going all the way up his noggin. But no, but like but I do love those Jedi who are like real who love the Order, who care so much about like about what the Jedi are meant to be. It's just that they're too rigid in their ways to realize their own faults there. It's what makes them so compelling to me. And I love seeing that in Jord, and it's so fascinating. And it makes me happy to get that flavor of Jedi who will also actually get like sincere live action on screen character development.
And I love that Jackie is giving him crap like a little sister.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love their little
Cute.
You'll put on your clothes.
And
it's so cute.
Olega City looks amazing.
Oh yeah. that like little
shot
on an island, yeah.
It felt very
it looks
like
great.
Maz's castle.
Yes.
To me, the thing that reminded me of a little like I had to like actually like search like a bit for me. Like when I saw like the initial atmosphere this second time walking around, I'm like, that does look a lot like Ferrix. Similar atmosphere to Ferrix, and I'm like, no, there's different stuff, absolutely.
So are people going to show up with bricks to hit fascists?
I hope. I hope Darth Teeth gets a brickin'.
I mean, going back to what you said though, Brennan, about like the High Republic novelization.
Yeah.
I personally am not well versed in any Star Wars literature beyond Boba Fett Legends comics, which that's my man. So watching the High Republic, this is my first time experiencing it, and it is so fun, like seeing the Jedi at their highest peak, essentially, and also seeing the differences in opinions already between Sol and Benestra and Jord. My man.
No.
Hashtag Jord, put your clothes back on. That'll be the new hashtag.
His clothes off, maybe sometime.
Okay, well, all right.
I mean, if he is okay with it, I'm okay with it. We have to have a further discussion about it.
Yeah, it's funny, Taylor. I was just telling you last week about that really cringe redesign that one Fandom Menace guy did for all the High Republic characters, where he made Stellan Geos look like Leather Daddy Exar Kun.
Oh yeah, no.
Now I'm just imagining that you actually want that guy to come back and do Jord.
I think I just came into a very strange conversation.
You may have.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like him a lot, maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't complain. He's a good-looking guy.
Brennan's like, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love the fact that he was very much Sam Reich. I've been here the whole time throughout every like OSHA in a compromising position with Turbo.
Well, this whole episode reminds me a lot of Game Changer. This whole series reminds me a lot of Game Changer because the only way to learn is by playing. The only way to win is by learning, and the only way to begin is by beginning.
Let's play.
Yeah. So but real quick before we bring it home and everybody can do their pluggables, I do just want to say
I don't have any pluggables.
Taylor doesn't have any pluggables. She puts up with me, and for that she deserves praise enough. But I know Eli Taylor and I got to see this in the theater last night. Brendan, was there a screening near you? Were you able to make it out to one, or was this the
No,
first to go?
I watched it tonight on Disney Plus.
So obviously there's no title card in the episodes.
That was so exciting. That was so fucking exciting to see him.
Because what I know, the second one was like Justice Revenge.
It was the other way around. It was Revenge Justice.
Or Revenge
and the first
Justice.
one was Lost Found.
Lost Found, Revenge
those are
Justice.
interesting titles. Yeah.
Dual titles, dual main
that.
characters,
dual
purposes.
Fucking love that.
It's fantastic. And how it can apply to both situations equally. Like, if you look, like Lost can apply as equally as it can to May as it can to Osha. Found is the same. Revenge for 2 and Justice for 2. Beautiful. Only wish they would have shown the damn things.
I too wish
the episode
could see it, because I would have been freaking out about that last night. And I'll get more into this in our actual episode review this week on KNR. Because I know I got into this a lot with Ahsoka, that because I can't help myself, like one of my favorite pieces of art of all time is Kendrick Lamar's Damn. That album is just so important to me and its themes. And like the whole core idea of Damn is that wickedness or weakness, you decide. Like that whole core idea and the way that the whole album is structured along the two diverging paths of a path of wickedness and a path of weakness. And like the fact that this whole show is going to be structured like my favorite album of all time has me tweaking.
She loves playing around with the duality. She absolutely does.
The light and May taking that piece of the darkness and
I
following
think
them through the album.
It definitely works for me because I'm a very religious person, so there's that idea of there is that capability of being bad or good, and I choose the good because it makes me feel good to do good. And I like that the show is playing with that idea.
Yeah, it's like Qui-Gon said. I don't choose the light because I think I'm going to win. I choose the light because it's the light.
It's the light. Yeah.
Banger fucking Qui-Gon quote. Every time I hear that quote or say that quote, my hair does stand up.
Well,
but
Qui-Gon does get my favorite.
Claudia Gray did not deserve to go that hard.
No,
but she did.
Qui-Gon gives my favorite quote in the entire Star Wars saga, which is your focus determines your reality.
Your reality. Fantastic. Yeah.
That was my favorite Qui-Gon quote until Master and Apprentice. And then I choose the light made me cry on a bus one time.
Because it's the right thing to do. It's fantastic. Jared, would you mind? Could I get a single for a second?
Oh, I will happily full screen you.
What's Eli up to?
I need to address this because I'm already getting so fucking tired about this. I'm going to echo a certain Michael Jordan here. To all y'all on the internet. Stop it. Get some help. This discourse, I've already seen it. Fucking exhausting. Like, I do not care. First of all, you can put me back if like.
Oh, I thought you were ready to go full. I thought you were about to do. I thought you were about to do what I do when we get to like the discourse segment on KNR.
I'll just say this.
Start screaming.
I'll just say this. The thing about Charlie Barnett accidentally saying that Anakin blew up the Death Star is the stupidest fucking controversy ever.
Is he the one who said that thing? Okay.
Yeah,
he said that after a long day of what I'm sure of our press junkets. And so he was obviously pretty tired. And like who among us? Who among us hasn't?
I've called characters the wrong name all the time.
I say wrong things constantly.
Who among us haven't? Specifically like the Dude Bros and those people out there are making this so explicitly clear now. Like, it's ridiculous how clear they're making it. They do not like the show because people of color are leading it, because women are leading it.
People who make infallible decisions because you didn't get this right just lead themselves into positions where they will never get things right because
but it's crazy to see like just how blatant they are being around it. Like, what are I haven't actually seen like that many actual like complaints about the show. I've seen one that I actually saw with Andor, which confuses me almost as much as with Andor as it does the Acolyte, which is that it's boring. Which
that's weird when people say the Andor is boring. I'm like, do we even watch the same show?
Yeah, no, but like it's one of those things where it's like this is like and like look, the Acolyte is also setting off Phantom Menace in a new way that it hasn't that Star Wars apparently hasn't been able to do since Last Jedi, because it is getting review bombed very heavily right now.
Oh my gosh.
Rotten Tomatoes audience
that Rotten
scores
Tomatoes score dropped and it came out and everybody's like, oh holy shit, like it's killing it, and then the predictable thing happened.
It's at
become so predictable. It's like
it's so like, but like the same like the same like discourse about the show, even like going a level above that, and I mean above just because I think the people who even argue this in bad faith are still smarter than the people the Phantom Menace. But like the stuff about like like Leslie Hanlon saying there's going to be no cameos in this show, I'm like, okay, I guess we're not going to
begin with.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess. So what? We're not gonna do stuff like C-3PO and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, cool. I don't understand why that had to be clarified.
I don't know. I feel like cameos are just people playing themselves, which I think the most recent, like, literal cameo in media was Megan Thee Stallion and She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Like,
or like a thinly disguised like here's one like that although he does appear a lot,
if
like
Jack Black was playing a character called Dak Deck, like
or here's the example, honestly. Like, I know this is technically this is a completely different character, but I would argue that Flea as Vec Nokru in Obi-Wan Kenobi is a cameo.
Yeah.
He stands there and does Flea stuff.
The word cameo means nothing anymore. The moment we started calling Ahsoka and Mando or Boba Fett or Luke Skywalker a cameo, that
or
word
Anakin,
all its
that you started calling a guest star a cameo.
And I tell you, every time those
cameo
people
only
show
means
up,
character I know from the other thing, and that's all that word means anymore.
Means a famous person playing other person.
Yeah. Or like tiny appearance from something completely unexpected, like Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba on Jedha in Rogue One.
Or I didn't even say Book of Boba is a cameo. Like, that's a cool little nugget. It's fun. It is not like hyper integral to the plot, but it justifies its presence with like a really beautiful emotional beat where Ahsoka has her conversation with Din, and then she has her her.
Yeah, I was just watching that earlier today.
Yeah, but I feel like this was just a guest star.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree, but I would say, like, even then, like.
But I think people calling it a cameo, they're not engaging with what's there.
I agree.
Absolutely, 100%. But like,
the word filler, the word cameo. Ugh.
And here's the one.
Lizzo is a cameo because she plays.
I suppose.
But like at best, that's
at best. At best,
Lizzo is a cameo. At worst, again, much like all the other characters, she's just a character played by a famous person.
Yeah. I'm also just gonna tell with this, which I already commented on very early, in this stream with the whole starts with R comment. But there was a review that's getting pre-panned is from like somebody in a legacy outlet, and yeah, it's bad. There's no sugar, like, it's really bad.
Well, they said it's in a legacy outlet. Who? Wait, well, I didn't know about this. I'm sure I'll find out about it. But
yeah, no, but
but so there's also a lot of anti-Asian racism, especially when it comes to like
they said
Yeah.
they were they among other things criticized Yord's haircut for no reason,
that's weird.
and
I like it.
That's
What?
fucking weird.
and said that Lee Jung Jae's
The
English
perfect
sounds stilted,
baby angel.
which
John Jay is great in the show. I don't
yeah,
know
which
what
he's
they're-
great. I don't understand. But the other thing is
That's the anti-Asian racism I was
It-
looking for.
yeah, and the other thing is like that would like of course that trumps any other thing, but like even if that article didn't say that, I would still not take it seriously for 1 second because because one of the things is like one of the things the guy starts off the article by saying, he's like, obviously the Jedi are terrible at their jobs, but I'm like, what are
Did you
you
even watch the
talking
same show?
about? What are you talking about? Obviously the Jedi are terrible at their jobs. What? Where did you get that from?
I mean, in every
Red letter
corporation-
fucking media is where
Yeah, I
they
was
got
saying,
that
like,
from.
Oh,
in every
gosh, yeah.
corporation, there are always people who don't do as good as other people, but that doesn't mean they're bad employees. That just
Well,
means they're trying.
With that, I think we're gonna bring this little talk back to an end.
Yeah.
This is fun. I love doing these. Excited to do these for the rest of the show. Brennan, you first. Where can the lovely people find you and what you do, my
Wait.
friend?
Actually, pause.
Pause.
Because I have nothing to offer the people. So I'm going to sign off, everybody. Bye.
Bye, Joe.
She's wonderful. Brendan, where?
You can find me on X at Brennan Mystical. You can find me on Threads and Instagram at Brennan Blue. You can also find me on Blue Sky under my name. And, of course, you get all of my podcast, Page Turners They Were Not, on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, yo.
And I've had Eli on my show, but I need to have both of you back on my show at some point, and Jarod for the first time being a guest on my show.
Yeah. I'm due
Absolutely.
for a Page Turners, and you're due for a Knights of the Nerd Republic.
Yeah, and I haven't had Eli on for a while, so I need to have you
Yeah,
back.
Jago and I did an episode a while back, but yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'd love to be on yet again, Bren.
So I'll be reaching out to you guys soon, but thanks for letting me hang out.
Hell yeah, brother. We'll catch you on the flip. Go check out Brennan's show. Brennan, one of the few people I could say is truly a worthy opponent in epic confrontations.
And
Yeah, that
if
was.
you're listening, I'm coming for you.
Oh, we all are. We all want to turn. We all want to turn at the new champ. Getting the belt's the easy part. Keeping it is the
I need to
hard
get my
part.
belt
Diaz.
back since I lost my belt when they ended the showdown.
Listen. That's a tragedy. It's like Kaysen said on Twitter today, baby. When I get that belt, I'm putting a spinner on it. Okay, it is. That is gonna. That will forever be known as the Dark Jedi's belt. Once I get it, and hey, maybe it goes to Brennan first. Maybe it goes to me first. I know I personally would love nothing more than to take that pretty little belt off of Alden's shoulders. But, Eli, where? Now that I'm done cutting a promo for you, where can the lovely people find you?
Everywhere.
I can't help it. I just start
No.
doing it involuntarily sometimes.
I encourage it. You can find my link tree is where all my stuff is listed. lanktr.ee/_OGfan327 has all my links for everything. On Star Wars in the Galaxy, our weekly Star Wars podcast, we're pumping out Jedi Survivor episodes right now. And of course, Epic Confrontations, our trivia show. We of course just had that truly awesome title match, and I mean like the awesome, not like just like, oh, that was awesome.
It was a
Yeah.
great match. It was so
awe-inspiring. It was so fun to watch, just even from where I was, honestly.
And I gotta say, Jarod, my match against you was a lot of fun.
Oh, it was a phenomenal match.
The last two have been phenomenally played matches, both of them. We have more matches soon. We should have one coming up this month that I'm very excited for. Team's #1 contender match.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Even more belts are getting shipped out by the end of the year. It's a wonderful
Mhm.
time. But thank you to both of you gentlemen for stopping by.
Thank
I
you.
have not been looking at the comments, and we've had a few. Let me throw these up real quick. Taylor was just saying adios, Brennan.
Taylor's
Awesome
awesome.
talking
She's
to
so
you.
cool.
Taylor is the best. Jared, the trivia loser. Thank you, honey.
Yeah, now.
Brennan, #1 contender. This is all facts. But yeah, you guys can find me at Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. You can also find me on Ionized Bastards, a Star Wars RPG show. I had a really gross hiccup, and I'm really glad I didn't open my mouth for that. You can find Ionized Bastards, a Star Wars RPG show that takes place a few years before the events of The Mandalorian, starring myself as Fabian Martell, an ex-Inquisitor with a complicated relationship with the Force. Thalbor Sheems, played by Alden Diaz of Octo Radio and Anytime with Ken and Alden. Zuzo Yort, a kleptomaniac cyborg Gungan, played by Dan Miller from Broaxium, and a cuddly assassin droid named 4044, played by Jerry the Cannon Junkie from the Bombad cast. It is my favorite project I've ever been able to be a part of. We are wrapping up our second season, and from what I understand, jumping right into season 3, which will be the final season of Ionized Bastards. So we are chugging along to the end of this project that I have nothing but love for. So stay tuned for all of that. Obviously, Epic Confrontations, as we've been talking about, Eli's Star Wars trivia show over on the In a Galaxy podcast feed and on the YouTube channel. And as I said earlier, the Noob and Pro Pro and Noob podcast with myself and Mitch692, where we talk about anime. He's taking me through it. We got Taylor chiming in right in time. Her favorite program, Ionized Bastards, of course. I am not her favorite character. It is the champ, Alden Diaz.
One question: do any of them have hair like yours?
Do any of them have hair like yours? No. I think the only member of the party who has hair is Fabian, because he's the only human, and he's got some like long, kind of like chivalric knight, kind of flowy, wavy hair.
Nice.
Think Cal Kestis's windswept look in Jedi Style.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Pro and Noob podcast, where Mitch is showing me anime one episode at a time. Our first season is going to be on Neon Genesis Evangelion. We're about 3 episodes in, having a great time. We're 3 episodes in now, and episode 2, which is us discussing the 2nd and 3rd episodes of Evangelion, will be out on Friday at the same time as our discussion with Kelly Knox about these first 2 episodes as well. So stay tuned for all of that. Be sure to check out the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you get podcasts, and at our website, thenerdacademypodcast.com. Be sure to check out our Patreon. Thank you to all our patrons: Paco, Ray Clausen, DeAndre Lloyd, Eli, who is here because he's a $5 tier member. Versus series coming back next week. Schedules have finally been ironed out for the most part. Eli's going to be on for a very special episode of the Versus series as we kind of try to do 1 or 2 guest hosted episodes, and he's going to be
everything's going to be all right, kid.
Everything's going to be all right, kid. We got Grand Inquisitor versus Keller and Beck. We got Ezra Bridger versus Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi coming down the pipeline.
I didn't hear about that one. That's good.
By the way, I have one more thing to plug, if I may.
Please do.
So, in a couple of days, I'll be releasing an episode that I'm recording tomorrow with our good friends Scotty and Jerry. The Bombad cast.
The Bombad Ghosts.
So look for that in a couple days.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic.
Go check that out. Absolutely. But yeah, we got some heaters coming down the pipeline for the Versus series. Very excited for all of those. I actually got an idea for one the other day that I don't know if I'm going to say it publicly yet, but it's going to be a cool one that will involve another Inquisitor and a certain character a couple people in our chat are a fan of. Ninth Sister versus Savage Opress is another one I came up with. So stay tuned for that. A battle of characters Eli and I don't like.
Yeah, that's very. I was about to make it. I didn't want Savage Opress and Joy to come after me. I was about to make a joke. I did. I'm not going to. And then Jared chose violence for me.
Yeah. Yeah, then there's Taylor who insists on pronouncing it as savage, which
Those
is
are
funny to me.
fighting words, guys. I tell you.
Listen, man, after Maul shows up, Savage is less interesting.
Okay,
But
that's a fair argument. I would agree.
that is a debate for a different day because I know I'm going to get yelled at by Taylor now for talking shit about Savage. But thank you all so very much for tuning in. Check out the full episode review later this week. Be sure to stop by next week after the next episode of The Acolyte. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for the people who called in to hang out. And may the force be with you. And for light and life.
For light and
Life.
life, baby.
For light and life.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.